So we have Austin on the show today.
Hey guys,
This is
Austin.
phenomenal.
Howdy.
And Josh Scott is back as well. So
Hi.
this is the second video podcast that we get to do together, which is awesome.
Yes.
So let's get right into it. Essentially, what we're talking about this morning, start off with, is a little bit more on Flight Fest West, a little bit of update. We have our main man Austin with everything Flight Fest West related.
First, I just want to say this isn't the second video podcast, as some people pointed out in the comments.
Oh, that's
of the last
right.
one.
You're right. That's 100% correct.
There was maybe like 3 or 4 video podcasts, but they were all not official video podcasts.
They essentially set me up for failure.
They were-
I mean, that's what they told me. Is like the first one ever.
This is
It's
going to be
crazy.
consistent, and it's going to be a real thing.
Exactly,
So this
yeah.
is the second episode of the video podcast series.
The other video podcasts were just kind of like just audio podcasts that we happened to record on video, just to experiment a little bit. Never really became a thing, but now it's a thing. Thanks to you, Stefan.
I'm glad it's a thing now because
So, yeah.
now I have a job. So
Everybody can thank Stefan for that, for making it a thing.
Perfect.
Yeah, Flight Fest West is still going strong. Did you guys talk about that in the last podcast?
Yeah, we talked a little bit about it, more location and stuff, but we didn't talk about specific like what's happening, what's the updated numbers, all that kind of
Okay.
stuff.
Yeah, I don't want to belabor too much anything you guys talked about last week, but yeah, people are signing up for it. People are coming, believe it or not.
Oh, good.
Yes, woo!
We have actually we're well over 100 pilots now.
Oh, wow.
That are signed up, which is pretty exciting. And lots of other spectator tickets and vendor tickets. We have about half a dozen confirmed vendors so far, which is pretty good.
Wow.
I have yet to really contact anybody about vending or anything like that. So if you are a vendor, or if you are out, more towards the West Coast and think that Flight Fest would be a cool spot for you, we do have some spots left. Something I don't know if you guys talked about last week or not. Is going to be a little bit different this year. Is that all the vendors are going to have like an indoor area?
Really?
We're also going to have an outdoor area for vendors, but some of that premium space indoors is going to be sold first. So kind of the philosophy is that the Flight Test store is going to be kind of the middle of that expo center, and then around it is going to be the other vendors. So
Cool.
It's going to be a pretty cool setup, and it's going to be nice to be indoors. That way, if the weather's not great or if it's super hot or whatever, it's going to be a nice area to go into and
That's nice.
browse products and talk to different manufacturers and talk to different organizations, that sort of thing. So
Yeah, we did not know that, which is actually a really, really awesome.
hey, that's why
update.
I'm here, guys. I can bring some unique information to the
Austin
table.
Fury, everybody. Let's go. That's how we roll.
And also something that's new this year is that we have a different price if you're just an organization. If you're just like a nonprofit or an RC club or a STEM program or something like that, we have a different, much reduced price. So it's actually about 1/5 of the cost.
Oh wow.
Of what a traditional vendor or sponsor would be charged to be there. So if you just want to promote something, that you're not necessarily going to make any money off of, or you just want to promote, get more people in your organization, there's an option for that as well. So
That's legit.
that would be, if you go to the flightfest.com/west page, there's a link to the vendors page. So
Go there, check it out, because obviously we want as many people there as possible. We want to meet all of you guys. Obviously, it's an opportunity for the community, obviously, to meet us, which is cool. But for us, it's really an awesome opportunity to get to see through the eyes of everybody else.
Yeah. It's
which is
rewarding.
It is.
And it's exciting too, because we've really established like an extended family with Flight Fest East. People that have come back over the how many years? 3 years, 4 years?
3 years, yeah.
3 years that we've done it. It's really cool to see familiar faces and everything. So I'm excited about the opportunity to go to the other side of the country and get to meet some new people, and then actually, with it being an annual thing, like develop into some cool relationships. So
Right.
it's pretty awesome.
And I can honestly say that I've only been to California once. It was for a wedding way back in the day, and I was there for like a day, and I didn't get to really see anything. So I'm really excited to see that whole different avenue of everything and how it kind of, weather. We don't have good weather here, which is really unfortunate.
Currently, no, we do not.
We do
No,
not.
not
It's
at the
snowing
moment.
here. So if everybody, as you're listening, you can think about how cold we are. It's really unfortunate. But yeah, I think it'll be a really cool thing for the rest of the community that never gets to come to Flight Fest.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that talk on the forums and on the websites and all that stuff about, I'd love to come, but just too far. So hopefully this is an opportunity for you to come. We would love to have you guys there. Go check out the website, register online, because it's going fast, I hear. So that's good stuff.
And something else that's going to be a little bit different this year at Flight Fest West. Well, not different, but just kind of amped up a little bit, is we're going to have something that's called an FPV village. So there's going to be kind of like a pilot, kind of like hangout area. There's going to be a pit area, and then all of the FPV specific vendors and sponsors will kind of be located in one central area. That's
all the FPV village people.
All the village people. Yes, that's
Cool.
right. And it'll be close to the racetrack and close to like the freestyle area. So for easy access and everything. So if you are coming specifically for FPV, which there should be a lot of that, just because the the kind of the San Francisco area there, of that area of California, FPV is extremely popular and drone racing is extremely popular. So, so we wanted to make sure that we were doing justice. There's always been FPV and FPV racing and sort of thing at Flight Fest East. But our goal is to even more so have that as a part of Flight Fest West. So if you're an FPV company or vendor or just a pilot, be sure to check that out because we want to really make it huge.
Right. And obviously this is going to probably be a little bit smaller than a Flight Fest East, probably in general, just because it's the first time. That's what we're thinking. But you guys can make it happen, make it bigger than what we've ever even thought. So we really appreciate all your community support through that.
How does the space compare?
The actual acreage is a little bit bigger.
Okay.
And that's some of the comments that I've seen. Just people, kind of wondering, can it really hold an event of that size? So yes, if it gets, double the size of Flight Fest East, which I did not see happening for registration wise,
prove him wrong.
Yeah, right. Yeah, prove me wrong.
Call to action.
The venue is going to hold, quite a bit of flying. It's going to hold we're actually going to have more flying space, not flight line wise, but just overall in general, the amount of pilots are going to be able to fly at the same time.
And I heard we have an indoor flying area as well. Is that going to be an opportunity there, or is that kind of more in the works for a later date? Or
we might have like a tiny whip course or something like that inside, but no, there won't be really any indoor flying to speak of, other than like a demonstration type course.
Okay,
for people to see.
That's awesome. Well, like I said, we thank you for all coming out when we're there. Hopefully you can make it. On the note of community, like we did last podcast, and we're gonna do this every week, which is really exciting for me because this is my main job role, to really showcase the community, and what's out there, what we see on the articles, what we see on the forums, even comments sometimes on the YouTube channel, can kind of come from anywhere, really. So which is really cool. And today we're gonna chat a little bit about the guy's name is Bill McKay. He's actually a forklift operator from Rochester, New York. So hello, Bill, if you're listening. Thanks for all your hard work in the articles and all that stuff. He's also been to Flight Fest once or twice with his brother, which is really cool.
Oh, that's cool.
He goes by Mobilica on the articles. So what he did, which is, we're all about little DIY hacks here. We're all about that's kind of like been the Flight Test motto, I feel like most of the time. But he made this like a little $11 hula hoop racing gate. And what he decided to do was put LEDs in through them, make stands, and make a little, almost like a tiny whoop course in his own home for super cheap, which most awesome.
People do that with their house anyway, but most of them don't have cool hula hoops.
They were talking that normally they use chairs and different furniture,
which is how he started out. He said he was kind of flying around his house, and either his daughter or his niece, I might be messing up the story, she had a hula hoop laying around. So he's like, naturally, I'm going to try to go through this hula hoop. And that kind of gave him the idea to set up the course. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's really cool. And the nice thing is that we're all about DIY hacks, but we're also about getting people into the hobby early, economically smart, obviously a cheaper avenue. And this is something that anybody can do. You can go to your Dollar General. You can go to your, where you buy your Dollar Tree foam board or whatever. You can grab hula hoops. They come in different sizes, which is what he was talking about in his article, that you can do large hoops for, either bigger quads, or if you're not as skilled full flying. And then you can get smaller ones and put them in different places and make yourself a little bit better each time you go through different smaller hoops. And then you put the LEDs in and they look awesome. So we'll have a link down below to show you the pictures in the article. But it was a really cool little DIY hack that I thought was essentially for the community, everybody can use. Yeah. Everybody would love, everybody enjoy. And then on that note, we also have a good friend of ours, Bob Parmalee. Bob, if you're listening, we love you.
Shout out.
Big man, big time. He actually, we don't have a hula hoop with us today, but Bob made his own kind of hoop, and we put LEDs in it the other day. And this is what he came up with, which is really cool. Boom.
Nice. Now, for the half of people that are listening to this podcast that are listening to the audio only version, we're looking at a basically like some PVC piping, and then it's going into like a a 3-piece, and then it's going down to like a rod that's into like a wooden base.
Yeah. So this is essentially, if you don't know what this is, because I didn't know what it was, this is PEX pipe. So
okay.
Right now, if you can't see this, and the people that can't see this, obviously you see it, which is nice, but there's a blue hoop, right, that comes into like a T-fitting. And then there's a red rod that goes down into a piece of wood.
You explained that so much better than I did.
I try. And the PEX pipe is, it's about half an inch thick. And there's 2 different colors, blue and red. And the reason they use PEX pipe, not for these things, but just in general, you can get these at Lowe's and stuff like that. Blue is for cold water and red is for hot water. So they actually do have a meaning behind the colors. Which
but not just for making RC hoops.
Right.
That's RCHoops.com.
You can't go to Home Depot and ask for the RC hoop section.
Right? Well, yeah, if you go there, I think they have a specific guy that works in the RC Lowe's area. So there might be a good desk.
Actually, we've pretty much made Lowe's into an RC store because we go there all the time.
Yeah.
For all kinds of stuff.
Actually, we were just there the other day, and we met a flight test community member, and he was, I think his name's Ben. So Ben, if you listen, hope you're having a good day working at Lowe's.
Shout out to Lowe's.
Shout out to Lowe's for hooking us all up with Chad's goody doodads back there.
How do you spell PEX pipe?
I think it's PEC. Okay. PEC and then apostrophe S, PEX pipe.
Yeah, people find it.
That's
we don't have access to the internet here.
Yeah, so. Right. Yeah.
This T fitting though, I do have the number. If it's PN 51405. If you need to go to Lowe's and grab that. So it is what it is. Thank you, Bob, for your awesome little gates. I really appreciate it.
So this article, did it tell you how to like put the LEDs into the hula hoops and everything?
Yeah, so essentially, exactly. Tutorial. Yeah, if you look through the article, they'll show you, like he uses like a snake method. I think he used a string and you just put it on and snaked it through, put it all together. He actually used the battery that you plug in as the stand. Cool. You can do that if you don't want to buy a stand or make a stand, if you don't feel comfortable doing that. So you can use the battery just as a stand because it'll hold it up because of the weight of the battery, which is really cool because, even a cool little DIY hack you can use.
So if you make some hula hoop racing gates, take a photo on Instagram or something and hashtag flight test. We'll check it out.
Please do, because we're always looking for fun things to do around the shop. And I think the plan is to we might be doing some type of episode / how-to in the future. I was talking with Josh about that, so be on the lookout for that. So big shout out to Bill McKay. Thank you so much for your support and all your community options on the forums and the articles and stuff like that. We really appreciate. Like I said, we read them, we listen to them, we look at them, and we wouldn't be anything essentially without our community.
Yeah. So, and if people are interested in creating an article, it's super easy. If you're logged in and you're on the flighttest.com/articles page. There's a big button in the middle that says create an article. So yeah, and I think one of our new employees, a content developer, Megan, she's working on kind of creating like a tutorial on like how to make a good article and how to get it accepted and how to do some more advanced formatting and that sort of thing. So hopefully our article section is just going to keep growing and growing.
Yeah, and they don't know this yet for those who are watching and listening. But my plan is to actually have Megan on the podcast at some point in time here in the near future and cool. Have her chat about that. And so you guys can hear it from her mouth.
The real question is, does Megan know that?
She might and she might not. I don't know. We'll have to check that out. But
she's going to find out.
Yeah, exactly. She will. So yeah, so be on the lookout for that as well. There'll be we really appreciate all that feedback and all that support through that. So now we'll kind of segue into some more flight test related content as far as the store, the episodes, stuff like that. Wanted to kind of just note about if you don't get to go on the YouTube channel all the time and look at all the episodes and you're not subscribed, which if you're not, please do. It'd be awesome to get all that and click that notification button to know that when every video comes out. But we just did a video on the beginner's guide to drones, and wanted to point that out because I know a lot of people. We're obviously focused more toward the beginners and people getting into the hobby. So I wanted to highlight that because it's a really good tutorial about how to choose a drone. It's not about necessarily like you should get this, and this. It's like if you're here at this level, this is your category. If you're here at this level and this is your cash flow, here's this category, which is really nice. Yep. So I think TJ and Josh were involved in that video. So they did a really good job of going through each different thing. And I think that the community will really enjoy that. I'm hoping that people get to really see and hear and understand, where you kind of go in that first drone level.
Probably a lot of people in our community that that's pretty beginner content for them, but it's a great resource to share with somebody that's thinking about getting into the hobby.
Yeah.
Or if you've explained it a couple times, it's nice to have a video to reference to.
That's right.
If you're trying to help somebody else pick,
right,
make a good pick.
And knowing that you're obviously you've flown a little bit obviously with planes and stuff like that. Now I don't know how much drone action that you've gotten over the
Not
years.
much, yeah.
And I figured, so for you, kind of give me your thought. Did you watch the video?
Yeah. Well, I think it's really easy, being involved in the world that we are here at Flight Test to just keep going and keep, something new comes out. Oh, we want to review that. We want to check that out and keep going. And we kind of have to remind ourselves every once in a while to remember that, we're not all at the same step of this journey in this hobby. We're not all at the same skill level. We don't all have the same interest. So it's really important to kind of, do an episode or even a series like we have in the past. We've done a beginner series like that we can, kind of step back and say, well, there's people that are currently right now wanting to get into this hobby.
Right.
So instead of showing them all the latest, the flashiest, the most advanced, let's keep that in mind and make sure that they have a good experience from beginning to end. And, getting into the hobby is an investment. So you don't want to make an investment in a plane or a multi-rotor or anything like that without the experience and the knowledge to back it up, because that can be a really discouraging thing.
True.
So, and the technology changes so much that we can't just say, oh, well, we did a beginner series, a few years ago, so that should suffice. But everything changes, everything updates, and there's always new technology coming out for advanced and beginner pilots. So
that's a
I
great
think
point.
it's pretty important.
Yeah, the feedback on that episode was pretty solid, and a big question that we got was, can you do one for airplanes, like an updated one? And we did.
Yeah,
yes, we did.
That'll be coming out here
next couple weeks.
Next couple weeks, yeah.
I was going to say it might be out by the time this podcast is out. But
it might be.
True, that might be the case.
I'm not aware of the timelines.
I said a couple weeks just to give me some
leeway. Right? Take everything we say with a grain of salt, because we're not 100% positive on everything. So there it is.
Whether in the future or the past, it will exist.
I like that. I like that. So like I said, I wanted to just give some notes on some of the recent videos that have come out. Obviously, we did the truck drone with the vlog, which was a lot of fun, because we've been driving around RC cars a lot here at the shop lately. I feel like that's Alex and TJ's fault. But anyways, that is what it is. We did the A10 Warthog. You were part of that episode, which was a lot of fun. It seemed like
we put it through its paces, as we say around here, or through its faces, I should say, because its face got jacked. Yeah, it's a good flying thing. I think we just kind of over. Or maybe undercompensated for landing, and we didn't give it the most friendly of landings sometimes. And some people put it into trees. Hey, what's up, TJ? But we did get some good feedback from the community too about just better technique with landing it, kind of taking care of it, but also with kind of reinforcing it as well. So
carbon fiber spars, stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And that's the good thing, is that that's the good feedback that we need from community members, that we're not 100% experts. We don't claim to be.
No.
That's why we want to hear back from you, have the feedback, have the comments on the YouTube channel, because some people know more than we know. So at the end of the day, that's what we're looking for.
Yeah.
So as far as those are concerned, go check out the episodes. Let us know what you think. We always want to hear your feedback. And then segueing into the product side of things, we've added a couple crazy things to the store lately.
Yeah.
And one of those being a 3D printer.
Yeah, we decided to kind of go more of a 3D printer route. We found a really good one. It's made by Hyperion, a couple other brands. It's this particular one's called the Forge 3D.
Okay.
It's a pretty highly capable printer. It's got a good printer speed. It's got a good resolution. I would say it's in the I don't think it's really considered in the upper end of 3D printers, but it's solidly in the middle.
Middle class.
So it's a good starter printer. It's around $400, $399. And the reason we decided to go in carrying some PLA filament and carrying some 3D printers is just because I don't know if you guys talked about this in the last podcast at all, but basically, we're looking to for each of the free plans that we release, for our foam board airplanes, is we're wanting to release also files, 3D printing files that complement those foam board aircraft. So there's some really cool things you can do with foam board. But one of the downsides of foam board, it's difficult without using some really advanced techniques that for some people can be hard to replicate.
Right.
It's hard to get a lot of detail. And so with just some, just a handful of 3D printed parts, you can get, some awesome detail on a foam board airplane. And so I think it'll really kind of change like how a lot of our foam board kits look, and maybe retroactively we'll print some parts, for some airplanes that we've already done.
Mm-hmm.
And then certainly going forward, we're looking at on having on our website a much easier way to access all of the plans. Okay. Right now there's a great forum post that Dan Sponholz made in the forum that you can really easily access all the plans, and we can link to that in the show notes. But we're also looking at having like a really nice plan center on our site where it's constantly updated and everything, and that's where those 3D printed files will also be located.
That's phenomenal. That's really nice.
So that's something that we're looking at doing. Some other products, MicroVector OSD, the Vector unit by Eagle Tree is a super popular unit. They made a tiny one. So I'm sure you can expect some content on that and how to set that up in the near future. Something I'm really excited about is the Furious FPV Mosquito.
Right.
It's a little 70 millimeter quad. Oh, is that the frame? Is that a 3D printed frame?
We 3D printed this frame.
Nice.
And because we essentially jacked up the other one.
Well, we got an early prototype that had a 3D printed frame on it because it was a prototype. Right. But the ones that are shipping will actually have an injected molded frame that's a lot stiffer. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so we're excited. That's kind of in the brushless micro class, which I think is going to be extremely popular. I think we're already seeing a handful of products come out that is in the brushless micro class, but
it's exploding.
I think we're getting ready to see a ton more, in the 70 millimeter to 100 millimeter class. I think we're going to see a bunch of those.
That's exciting.
And we also have some Autumn V3s on the way from Rotor X, or X Rotor X. Those are kind of more, I want to say those are like 122 class or 130 class.
Right. Yeah.
But anyway, the technology for brushless motors and the batteries that are supplying the power is just getting better and it's getting lighter. And so we're able to do some really cool things with some really powerful quads that are also very small. And so I think that it's going to make for some really fun content.
Yeah, I think that's going to be awesome. We had the Vortex 150 on this last podcast, and we got to fly that around. And that thing, it flies like a 5-inch, but it's in that smaller weight class as it were.
It's more of a 3-inch, yeah.
Yeah, and it's just, oh man, it's phenomenal. So I'm really excited to see what those even smaller brushless motor type of quads explode that market.
Yeah, they're kind of like a little bit like flying a tiny whoop, but it's like 3 times the power. So you can do some fun stuff.
It's a beautiful thing. If you haven't tried it, go out and try it because it's awesome. Also, we got this little guy.
Oh yeah,
Riot 250.
The one sitting right in front of us.
The one hanging out on the table.
Yeah, this is a quad that we've been evaluating. This is, in our opinion, this is a great practice quad. There's actually, I think that this is actually one. I think the guy that was racing this actually won 4th, I think, in the multi GP nationals.
Oh really? Wow.
And so like it is definitely a race quad. It's a great practice quad. It's kind of in the vein of the Vortex. It's the same price as a Vortex. Okay. It has some really great power system. It's got DIY motors and ESCs. The nice thing is that everything's upgradable and there's parts available. The company Thrust UAV is out of Boise, Idaho, and so they have a really great customer support. They have just a really good design team, a really good customer support team that's behind the product. And so we're pretty excited about it. So we're going to start carrying it on our store. Awesome. And you can expect to see some content on it, on how to adjust the LEDs and make the LEDs different colors. There's LEDs all through the middle of the body.
Yeah, I saw that.
For those of you that are just listening, you can look up.
It's very pretty.
It's very pretty. It's white and green. But you can look up Thrust UAV Riot 250R. That's what it's called. So if you want to have a visual with the audio, you can look it up there. But yeah, you can look for more content on that on our channel and look for it in our store here very soon.
Yeah, and if you do decide to pick one up, please, we love to hear the feedback. We love reviews on the store website. Let us know what you think about it, because obviously we add things to our store. We want to make sure that what we're adding to the store is relevant, but is also something that our community members like to use, and that's not chintzy or brittle or whatever, to the point where you're having a dissatisfied opportunity, So in essence, that's what we want to hear from you guys, and hopefully you enjoy this wonderful 250 Riot Quad. Also, just a last note on some of the store related items. We're looking at getting some new swag at some point in time, some T-shirts, those kinds of things. And what I really wanted to just call to action to the community members, those of you listening and watching, what would you want to see? Like designs on the front of a T-shirt or on the back of a T-shirt, on a sweatshirt or on a hat, scarves, whatever it may be. What do you want to see? Give us some comments in the comments below, and let us know what really kind of floats your boat, as it were.
Also, just check out our apparel section to see what we have, and let us know what we're missing. So
Exactly.
If there's a style or something you want to see that we don't have, just let us know what you want to see.
Big time. So segueing into like the general RC current events thing that we are trying to do every podcast.
What's going on?
What's going on in the RC area? Well, first of all, if you haven't noticed, Josh is not here. Obviously, and also Alex is also not here, and Christian's not here. They actually went down to Florida, to Orlando, I believe. So they're shooting some content, some wonderful things down there. They get to have a really good time, and it's gonna be busy for them, but really gonna enjoy some time getting some really cool content, some nice weather, which we don't get here in the wintertime. So they're kind of doing that whole thing down there, which is really cool. And what kind of sparked that note for me was we were chatting around the shop. If you haven't seen, down in Orlando, they just passed a drone ordinance for people flying drones and quads and stuff like that in certain areas. And I'm sure most of you have heard about this, etc. Essentially, they had a big court meeting with people coming in and talking about why this is not a problem, why this shouldn't be a law. So they heard all their comments, decided to pass the law ordinance anyways.
Right.
So essentially what it is that now there's going to be a $20 permit. You have to buy a permit to fly in certain areas. Per event.
Yeah.
For different areas. So like one of the areas that is kind of against the list, as it were, would be parks with lots of people, events like
Sports
events with
games,
sports games, stuff like that, areas with big stadiums, stuff like that. Schools.
So what I heard is it's basically any city property,
right?
And then it's also within 500 feet of a public venue.
Correct.
I think they're defining public venue as so like sports arenas, that sort of thing.
Exactly. So, they're not worried about backyards or private property. That is not included in this. But one of the big things that I've heard is that the fines. They're going to be quite heavy fines, $150, $250, $300, $400 fines, as well as they've talked about jail time for some different kind of things that happen, different sorts of failures, as it were.
So that's for not getting a permit.
Yeah, for not getting a permit and going through and doing stuff and essentially being illegal, that you can face jail time. So really the big thing is this a problem? Is our drones causing injuries and all this stuff? Do you think this was the right idea, wrong idea? I mean, is it one of those things that, needed to happen, or
I think we'll probably see more of this type of stuff on the local level. Why it became a particular issue in Orlando, I don't know. I think part of the issue with this is that the people that are diligent, the people that are going to follow the rules, the people that are going to do research, those are the kinds of people that are going to purchase the permits. And those are also the kind of people that don't cause a problem. There's also kind of people that are safe operators and know the the AMA regulations and know the FAA regulations, and people that are irresponsible, people that are careless are the type of people that aren't going to purchase a permit. And those are also the kinds of people that you don't want operating drones in public areas.
Exactly.
And so I think that it's also unlikely that those people will be caught, unless there's a safety issue or unless there's a problem. So I think the scenario you're probably most likely to see is to see somebody that, is not operating in a dangerous manner, but it just isn't aware of, the ordinance, didn't see the news headline or didn't know where to research.
Didn't read, yeah.
Those are probably the kinds of people that are going to get penalized, which is kind of unfortunate. And I think that the people that do hear about this sort of thing will just kind of have a vague sense of it and just be like, oh, in Orlando, you're not really supposed to fly drones unless you talk to somebody. So I was kind of thinking about buying a drone, but now I'm probably not because it sounds complicated and I got to follow rules and blah, blah, blah. So, so yeah, I'm all about things that, make the hobby, more safe, but I don't think this kinds of legislation really touches, the safety aspect that much.
Yeah. I wonder what the demographic is down there for the kind of space that they have for recreational flying too. Because I know that when we went out to, San Francisco area a couple of years ago, a lot of people said that there's just not a lot of places to fly. So I wonder if, kind of cracking down on where you can fly, what kind of areas you can fly, how far away you have to be from these populated areas to fly. I wonder what kind of effect that will have on the people that just want to get out and fly recreationally.
Yeah, because when operated responsibly, I mean, it's very safe depending on the layout and the area, and it's very safe to fly a quadcopter or an RC airplane in a public area. Exactly. You can absolutely coexist. So it's stuff like this that is kind of puzzling. I think that really there's a lot of fear and ignorance that comes out of this type of stuff. So hopefully we don't see much more of it, but my prediction is that we probably will.
Yeah, and we're obviously all about keeping people safe, keeping the hobby safe. So we're all for safety, just done in the right way, done in the correct response. Also, I think this was driven a lot by, if I'm not mistaken, the Pro Bowl will be going on there with it, I think this weekend, which I think is why they passed it so quickly. Because it's a big event, a lot of people, a lot of hype around it. So that might have been a reason it was pushed through at this date without maybe as much thought needed to go into it. But let us know what you think in the comments below. Let us know what you feel about. What do you think is the direction of this going for the hobby? What's safe? What's not safe? We'd love to hear your comments and see what the community thinks on that. So. Also, the other thing that actually, Austin, you brought up to me yesterday was DJI is now terminating some of their Phantom line.
Yeah, the Phantom 3s specifically, they're phasing out. So they're not making any more of those. So all the Phantom 3s that are in existence are the only ones that are left. So I'm sure you can still get some from the DJI website if they're not out already. I'm sure there's, your local, DJI retailer, I'm sure probably still has some. Amazon probably still has some, but once those are gone, they're gone. So that was the Phantom 3 Advanced, the Phantom 3 Pro, and actually the Phantom 4. The regular Phantom 4 has all been discontinued. So the Phantom 4 was announced like 10 months ago or 11 months ago, and they've already stopped making them.
Shortest production ever.
Yeah, their level of iteration is pretty insane. So I don't know. I think that now if you click on the website, for the Phantom 3 Professional or the Advanced, I think it directs you to the Mavic now, which makes sense because the Mavic was at the same price point or similar price point as those. Something I believe that they're keeping is the Phantom 3 Standard, which I think kind of makes sense, at least until they start winding down production on that, just because it is kind of filling a gap in their lineup because it's about $400. It's $399 for a Phantom 3 Standard, and so obviously at twice the cost of that, you can get a Mavic. So maybe it makes a little bit more sense for them to keep the Standard. And that doesn't have Lightbridge. It operates off of Wi-Fi, blah, blah, blah. So it's definitely a lower model. Yeah, lower end model. Definitely not as many features or even close to as many features as the Mavic. But so anyway, all that being said, we've recommended the Phantom 3 Professional for a long time as kind of the best value,
right?
Because I think at one point it got down to like $600, $700, and there's just a lot jam packed into that. So if you are still wanting to pick up something in the Phantom line or the Phantom 3 line, I'd recommend you do that now. Right now, the Phantom 4 Pro and the Phantom 4 Pro Plus are the two Phantoms that they're really pushing as kind of their flagship Phantom line. I think the difference is that the Plus comes with a screen, I think.
Okay.
And the Phantom 4 Pro, you just provide your own screen. So anyway, yep, that's DJI for you. Always coming out with new stuff and always discontinuing the old stuff. So,
right. If you're looking to get a cheaper model with a lot of jam packed into it, you got to go get it now because they're not going to be here for long, which is something that we've talked to a lot of people about actually on the community forums and the websites and stuff like that. People want to get into that aero photography because it's kind of a pushing market. There's a lot of technology that's going into it, and just upgrading constantly so quickly. But people are always like, yeah, well, I want this for my job, or I want this to take really cool video of my family and my friends and do this, that, and the other. So it's a pretty exploding market in my head from the community side of things. People always want to do that. So if you're looking to get something at least at a cheaper price point, you got to do it now. Also, like we said, the Mavic is an unbelievable opportunity. Just wanted to kind of give that a shout out because we use that at the shop all the time. We use it in a shoot today. So if you are looking to spend a little bit more, the Mavic is so portable and awesome that obviously check out the video. We did a review on it. Really cool little machine to hang out with and to make all your video content that much better and kind of be out above the rest, as it were.
And if you want to subscribe for some upcoming content, TJ and I actually shot an episode. It's kind of how to get the most out of your Mavic, because a lot of people are receiving them now.
Right.
They were a little bit delayed on the shipping. So yeah, definitely they'll be out in the next week or two. So
awesome. Check it out. Let us know what you think. And so overall, right, we talk about these current events. We talk about the store related kind of community showcase, all this stuff. If there's something that you guys would want to see on a podcast, from the community side of things, or here, right? I apologize for all of those listening on iTunes that can't see. I apologize. Sometimes it's going to take me a little while to get used to that. But let us know. We always take your feedback. We always want to know what you guys want to hear and have us talk about and see on the website and stuff like that.
And not just topics, but if you have an idea for a segment that you think that you'd like to hear on a recurring basis, like I think a popular one is obviously Q&A.
Right.
We could definitely, answer some community questions on here. Or if we're just something we haven't even thought of yet, leave us a comment and we'll look at integrating it.
Please do. And as always, make sure you subscribe. Make sure you go on iTunes and subscribe there as well. Be on the YouTube channel so you can watch it, you can listen to it, you can hear about it, talk about it with your friends, because that's what we're all about, right? We're all about making things happen and making cool stuff. And so first of all, thanks so much for hanging out with us, Austin.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks, Austin.
Josh Scott, thanks so much again.
Thanks,
you guys are awesome.
Thanks, Stefan.
Hey, anytime, guys.
You're doing a great job, man.
We really appreciate it. And thanks all to you guys for listening and watching. And hopefully you guys will be back for the next time. So we'll see you guys later. And you guys have a great afternoon, evening, wherever you're at in the world.
Catch you guys next time.
Sayonara.
Bye.
Flight test.